Good afternoon, welcome back. This is SaimaUkNurse. If you haven't met me before, I'm a nurse from Southeast England. In today's video, I'm going to talk about social services and how you can lose your children to social services. Sometimes unknowingly, we parents, maybe because of the busy schedule or following the same culture as we do back home, and we are used to it, like we used to beat the children or scolding them or different kinds of things that we do back home. If we continue doing them here, you may lose your children to social services. You may not be able to get them back. So if you're living here in the UK, you need to be aware of these rules and regulations and what are the things that unknowingly maybe you are doing. It can put you in the trouble. So this is all we are going to talk about in this video. If this topic interests you by any chance, please watch the video till the end. I'm going to share very useful information. So the first thing I want to talk about is home environment. If you or any other family member or your partner, you don't have good relationship with each other, you're always quarreling or having fights or arguments, or you're very loud enough that the child thinks that something is not right, okay, this environment is not good at all, and it can put you in trouble. For example, if your kids are already maybe like 7 or 8 years or 5 to 6 years, they're able to speak, they go to school, or they tell to any of their colleague that, oh, mom was fighting last night, or my dad was very upset last night, he was scolding at my mom, they can the colleague, maybe they will go back to their house, or they'll tell their parents, or they'll tell their teacher. Anyone can report it to the social services. Anyone can file a complaint against you, okay? So you need to be very, very careful. And to be honest, keeping the environment safe at home, or keeping the environment nice and cool, you will have the peace of mind as well. So I think, I'm not sure, because it depends on the relationship of your own family, how you are how the terms are with you and your husband, or with your partner, or with other family members. But all I'm trying to say is just need to be very careful. Even if we are fighting, we shouldn't be doing it in front of the kids. Even if we having arguments, we should not be doing it in front of the kids, because when they go out to nursery, to schools, or to the play groups, kids are kids, they can say anything. So if they see you fighting, if they see you argumenting, or if they see you having quarrels and fights all the time, they can tell it to anybody, okay? So you need to be careful. The second thing I want to talk about is scolding the children, okay? You need to be mindful of the parenting laws here in the UK. If you are beating the children or scolding the children, there will be a safeguarding against you. There can be any safeguarding against you, okay? So how it will end up in the safeguarding, same as I said earlier, or even your neighbors, okay? The walls that we here have, they are wooden. So even if I speak loud, my neighbor maybe will be able to hear me, okay? So you cannot hide it. If you are scolding on your kids, maybe your volume is too high like me, or you are not able to control yourself. Sometimes with the busy schedule, or the time strains, or the stress, or with the work strain as well, we get overwhelmed. So you shouldn't be scolding at your kids, you shouldn't be beating them, because back home, when we were growing up, my dad never beat us, but my mom, she will even look at you in the way that you'll be like, okay, I will never do it again. But nowadays the kids are different. You cannot even frown at them, okay? So our life was totally different than the kids we have here now. And you need to abide by the rules. You need to abide by the rules, regulation, parenting laws, okay? So scolding, beating is not allowed at all. So if something happens, if you were scolding at the child, or you slap the child, there is a mark on the body, or something, and they go to school or nursery, anybody says, they'll put up file complaint against you. They will even report it to the safeguarding, that the kid is not safe at home. So you will be in a big trouble. And I'm telling you, this is very, very major. Don't take it light, okay? Even scolding the child, do not take it very light, All right, so the third thing I want to talk about is neglect. For example, you are very busy at home, you're very busy at work, you go to work, come back from work, and then you get busy with your own things. You don't give time to the kid, and you're neglecting their basic needs, their personal hygiene, showering, or anything like that, or their haircut, or you don't have time to spend with them, to give them a toothbrush or wash their face, or give them a shower. So if you are neglecting the basic needs of the child in any ways, it can put you in trouble. So here we have regular checkups. Okay, you go to your GP to see, they'll see the child. Before that age, the social services or the health visitor, they come to your house to look at your baby. So the health visitors, social services, they are really in contact with you. And sometimes even they can ask your neighbors, oh, how is he, how's the baby, have you noticed anything unusual, or have you noticed the child is crying all the time, or anything like that. They have their own ways, so don't assume that nobody will know. Okay, it's not like that. Nobody's gonna know. Even you scold the child, you beat the child, you neglect them, you don't provide the basic needs of the child, it's not acceptable at all. It can put you in big trouble, and then the social services, they can even take your child. Okay, when there are cases that you miss the appointment, for example, you had the vaccination appointment or regular checkup appointment, you didn't miss the you missed the appointment, you couldn't go for some reason, and for two consecutive appointments you missed the appointments, on the third one you may get a letter. So because, for example, if your child requiring physiotherapy or your child requiring any vaccination, you couldn't go for 2 appointments. Third appointment, you will get a letter that you are ignoring the child, or we have to inform the social services because these importance were very important for the child, and then you were not able to bring the child. Or is there any other way that this appointment can be made? Sometimes if you're having issues with the transportation, you can't bring the child to the clinic or something, they will even provide you transport for that. So you need to be very careful what you do. If the child is missing the appointments for vaccination, if they miss one appointment, maybe accidentally, or you miss the time, or you misunderstood the anything, okay, if you misunderstood the time or the date or anything like that, if you missed it once, it's okay, give them a call, rebook the appointment, reschedule it, and then you can go back. But for the second time, even you can't make the appointment, just be careful, guys, okay, because I've seen a lot of people losing their children. Okay, the fourth thing I want to say is about what was that, leaving the children alone. Leaving the children alone, if you are going to work, to going to grocery, going to the market or park, even for 5 minutes, you should not leave the child unattended at any time. Okay, under the age of 16, they cannot live alone at night. But if they are younger than that age, from 12, under the age of 12, you shouldn't be leaving them alone at any point. For example, if you go to grocery, you'll be thinking, oh, my child is still sleeping, in 5 minutes I'll be right back. No, please don't do it. There was a nurse who used to go to work and leaving the toddler alone at home. She was in big trouble. She nearly lost the baby because the social services, they will just take the baby away, thinking that you're not able to look after the baby, and you're not doing any good for the baby, to the child, and you are they are not safe in your house, and they are not safe in your hands. Okay, so you just need to be very careful. And if your child is taken for any reason, you will have to go through too many procedures and problems and investigations. If because of the neglect or the appointments, the child is having any physical or mental issue, because of those missed appointments, the child is developing any other problem, there will be investigation. And then if the investigation continues and the parents are they are doubting the parents' care, you will be under investigation. They can even file a section under for the child care. So usually they do the section 42, 42 or 47. So you just need to be very, very careful. It's not easy at all. Don't take it light, okay? Sometimes you go to the toilet, leave the kid alone outside for 30 minutes or for 20 minutes. It's not acceptable, okay? Even you have to bring the baby in the toilet, let them sit on their pram or on the chair, whatever, you do that. Because if the toddler or your child was not attended, was left alone in the house, and if something happens, it will be a big trouble. And as a mother or as a parent, it will be not good for you as well. If, for example, if they fall from the stairs, or if they plug something in the electric socket or something like that, you need to be very, very careful, okay? So you need to make all the safety measurements that you can. For example, I have a toddler, so you must have stair gates. Okay, you know that the child is walking around, he's at high risk of fall. So if there is no stair gate, he may go from the stairs very quickly, or he may fall from the stairs. So you need to be very, very careful. You need to be careful about their safety as well. If they should be having proper sitting in the house, okay? If they have a high chair in the house, they'll sit on that. If you don't have high chair, I mean, how are you going to feed the children? I remember back home we don't have any high chair, so the kid will sit in mom's lap and eat, okay? It's just normal. But here the situation is different. So when the social services come, if you're pregnant, throughout your antenatal, you'll be going for the clinic appointments, and then after the birth of the baby, the social services, the adult social services and the child social services, they come to your house, they assess your house, they check you have hot or cold water availability, the temperature of the house is good, or the house is neat and clean, it's not messy, okay? So they will be checking each and everything, whether they tell you or not, okay? I work as a nurse, so I know what we do, okay? So they go to your house, they check each and everything, home environment, family life, boiler services, or also the heating of the house, and if house is in presentable condition, okay? They also look how you dress up your child, all right? So it should be we all know that, right? It should be according to the season, okay? And the right size of for your kid, the clothing, the shoe, everything they look for, okay? Even if it seems like very minor problem, it's not minor for them. Yeah, so you need to be careful about what you do, especially with your children. I remember one of my friend, she was I think any sort of African country. She got sick initially when she came in. She was having a baby, maybe 1 or 2 years old, and then a baby boy, and she started drinking. So while she was sick, she went into depression, and she started drinking. And because of the drinking habit and because of her mental health, they had to take the son away. Okay, the social services took her son away, and until now they didn't return the son, because their point was, you are drinking and it's not safe environment for the child. You're drinking, you're not able to look after yourself, so how you will be looking after the baby? And because she was missing the appointments as well from the clinic, she was not remembering the time of the appointment. Apparently she said she can't remember the dates and the times, okay? So they said, okay, the social services will come to your house, they can do the checkups. But when they come to the house, she wasn't opening the door, or she wasn't home. So there are the things that unknowingly she didn't know that it will lead to that big mess, that she has to lose the baby. Now it's been 3 years, they didn't give her the baby back. So instead they put her into the hospital. So she's now in the hospital, and the son is in the foster. So it's really, really hard, honestly, guys, because back home, even scolding, beating the kid is just normal. So if you want your son to do something, if you want your kids to do something, you'll be like, okay, come here, do this one, I told you to do, you haven't done this. It's normal where we come from, but here it's not normal. And I think even in our countries, we shouldn't be beating the children, we shouldn't be scolding them. The culture is changed now, but before it used to be like that. But but nowadays it's not like that anymore. They don't beat the kids, or they don't scold the kids a lot nowadays. But before, when I was a kid, yeah, my mom, she'll frown at you in a way that you'll be like, okay, that's fine. I won't do that again. So yeah, we are from the 90s, isn't it? So you will agree with me. You'll agree with me if you are someone who's watching me. And in the UK, you need to be aware of the parenting laws. Okay, if your kid is going to nursery or school or a playgroup, you need to be on time, well dress up the children, and be mindful of their clothes, their hair cutting, each and everything. You need to be very careful. And as a parent, I think you will obviously do it without even telling to anyone. But sometimes when we get very busy, you may forget, or you'll be like, okay, I'll do the haircut tomorrow. His hair are already grown up, they are already long, and he doesn't look good, or he looks very messy, or you didn't shower the children, they're smelling, or I don't know, you didn't give the personal care, they're having rashes continuously, again and again, the rashes. And if you have to go to the GP because of the rashes multiple times, it can be doubtful for the mom. Is she changing the pads very frequently? Is she changing the diapers frequently, or they putting the pseudo cream or whatever? So are they really taking care of the kid? Okay, so sometimes even the rashes, they can get very severe, very bad, if you have to go to the GP for that, and it's multiple occasions, then it can be a problematic thing as well. All right, guys, I hope this video is going to be helpful. If you were not sure about these things, it will help you in somehow, and then it will make you a bit more careful about the environment at home, about the atmosphere that you're giving to your child, and the treatment that you're giving to your child, how you're treating your kid at home. I think it will be good for their mental health as well. If you are a parent, you need to be calm. You need to be very careful in teaching them as well, isn't it? All right, I'll see you soon in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. God bless you all.